it created a sense of callousness within me, and I did that the night of my case. I got a good head on my shoulders. I feel like I could do certain jobs that I'll never get because of my record.
It's time to plan some new ones.
It's the first time in Last of a Dyng Seed history where we doing 2 movies back to back. Today we have Marcus Armstrong on the channel, and one of the movies that he first say relates to his life is Menace II Society. So for the world that don't know, how does this movie relate to your life?
Well, oddly enough, I identified with 2 of the characters. Obviously, there's Kane, but there was Malik as well, because I felt like back in that day, my life kind of interspread between Malik and Kane's lifestyles. I had a dad in the house, and he did what he believed was good to keep me motivated, to keep me out the way, to keep me out the streets, and keep me what he felt was the right path.
Sharif. You talk about Sharif.
Sharif. I said Malik. My bad, Sharif. Right. Yeah, excuse me.
Right.
Just said, because he had a background though. He wasn't no total square. He just whatever happened to him, he chose right. So, you know what? I'm gonna listen to my dad. I'm gonna listen to my God, my high power as I see him, and I'm going this way. And I'm like in step 12, he tried to share that wealth that he had. It's spiritually, you know what I'm saying? He just didn't sit on it and just look out for himself. Throughout the whole movie, when you saw Sharif was trying to preach that good stuff.
You grow up at, and how was your struggle?
I'm from the Bay Area. I'm specifically a place called East Palo Alto, California. Okay. That's nestled right perfectly in between Frisco, Oakland, and all that. It was a rough experience. I've had issues with my dad, but looking back on it with 50-year-old eyes, I understand why he felt he had to be meaner in the streets, and try to keep a foot on my neck, so to speak. Because it was really rough. It's a town, literally a town, but it's a city, but it's a town of about 20,000 people. And we led the nation in murder rate per capita in 91 and 92. So that's how the little drug wars that happened a lot in the Bay Area. My city played a big part of that. You see, at one point, it was Denver, the whole Bay Area against my city.
Wow. And how did that shape you mentally at that age?
It made me callous, and I didn't realize it. My generation. I'm a Gen Xer, Pepsi generation. We're the first generation where the television started becoming a little more coarser. Like cartoons back in the day, or shows for kids. Like Father Knows Best was very. They kept a certain message of being an upstanding person. There was always a mention at the end of the episode. My generation, it was shows like Martin, all that shows started having a little more edge. The culture started having a little more edge. Hip hop started with my generation, and then the gang culture and then the drug culture. It wasn't so much colors in my area, but there was definitely we called them turfs. It was turf. We were hogging the turf, and it was a lot of drug dealing, and my city got caught up in the wave just like everybody else in the 80s and 90s. And it was very, and you got used to the stuff going around. People you grew up with, they start going to jail or dying or getting hurt, and you just get used to it. It was like, oh, what happened? Oh, Carl got killed last week. Oh man, and then move on. Kind of like on the yard, when the yard goes down, and somebody's getting chased around the yard and messed up really bad, and then we're literally prone out talking about some other stuff.
Right.
If it ain't got nothing to do with us,
Right.
It created a sense of callousness within me that I didn't even know was festering, and I was losing sight and losing a profound respect for humanity.
And what were decisions made by characters in the movie that you would say like you made yourself?
So the beginning of the movie, when Kane and Old Dog go in there, right? What always tripped me out about that whole situation in the liquor store and how it dovetailed from there was how we go in there. I see some of your quotes, Vision. How you go in there they came in with a mindset that I can't be told nothing. They came in with a mindset that like they don't like me anyways. They were already on the defensive, and he reacted very irrationally and very impulsively. And I did that the night of my case. I did that through my whole life. I did that when I got to prison. I was acting impulsively and violently with a lot of my lifetime. And when I saw Kane getting scared throughout the movie, right, where my decision came, right, it didn't seem like he was scared because, oh man, 2 people lost their lives. He was scared because of how it may affect him, and to see how callousness, that respect for life was entrenched throughout the whole movie. That couple became kind of like a laughing point in the movie. And don't tell me that when we were young, we saw that movie that we weren't laughing when they were laughing when they were watching the videotape or what they
Right.
did. And I know my 16, 17-year-old self, I was 16 when 18, excuse me, when that movie came out. I know if I was around those kind of situations and the homies had a video like that, I damn sure would have been watching it too,
Right. For sure. Yeah,
passing
yeah,
that thing around.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And we were at the bottom of the barrel where everybody had to fight for scraps. So that right there makes you selfish,
Yep.
and we come from a survival culture. We've never existed in a thriving culture. You know what I'm saying? The culture was only known to survive. So if you had a survival mentality, that makes you selfish in a lot of ways,
Yes.
and you're only willing to align yourself with those who are willing to risk what bit of life we have left with you. You know what I'm saying? If the homie ready to die with me, this my bro. You know what I'm saying? I give him
Man,
because this what little we have anyway. He willing to give it all for me, so I'm gonna give it all to him. And in all actuality, there is no value to anything that we're even scrapping for. And we're so focused on each other that we forget the larger thing that's at play right now when it comes to like projects that in
man,
itself, like what's the intent behind building projects to keep people boxed in and boxed out of certain suburban neighborhoods and then place
absolutely.
these things around them like liquor stores, like they see in the movie, bullshit public schools, like we see in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Man,
place these things around you so that we can continue to recycle that poor mentality amongst each other.
it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
They set the system up because right now you see the narrative is changing right now, and that's why I love this movie and the one and the other one. Uh, and how it relates to me because I'm into politics, always have been. That's another thing from my childhood, much like Sharif was. That's me. I was that corny teenager, even though I'm in these streets, I'm doing some student stuff. I'm the one like, hey man, y'all see what Bill Clinton doing in the office, man? He talked about having don't ask, don't tell. What? That was me. I was just brought up little random stuff like that. Hey man, you guys know what redlining is? There's a reason why our office look the same color out here in this east side of Palo Alto, but we're not over the ramp in Palo Alto, where Stanford University is at. Do y'all know how that happened? Oh, shut up,
Mm.
Mark.
Wow.
and then and then you get tired of kind of like hearing that, right? So then you just because you want to fit in, so you just like whatever, like, and I want to prove my bona fides because my interaction with my dad was like Kane didn't have his dad, and when he did send his dad was this super villain that I guess he felt he had to match. See, my dad thought he was paving the way, but I always wanted to match his energy, and I felt I couldn't, so I did it out
Mm.
there with the homies. I became something that I don't. I hate that phrase. I was, we say when we're trying to rehabilitate, or I was being something that I wasn't. I think I don't know if that applies for me or a lot of people. We did it, so it is definitely us, you know. And I just didn't do it when I kept doing it. I kept doing I kept doing this stuff over and over. So it was a part of my character. It was something that somewhere in my brain said, okay, yeah, I could do this. So that was kind of hard to just jumping ahead. It was kind of hard to reconcile. Like, damn, I kind of like violence. So if I go to try to get out of it, I got to admit that. You know,
Right.
I like what that like the car scene in Menace Society when they were going to get revenge for his cousin Harold getting killed and him getting shot. Right. Uh, uh, with old dog was going, hey man, I got a little old bitch and shit. Woo, 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 right. In some weird backward way, they were like bigging each other up. You know,
Right.
hey man, you ready, man? We got to go do this. You know what I'm saying? It was like, they killed your motherfucking cousin. It was such a scary way of mourning and getting some type of justice and getting some type of peace for what just happened.
Mm.
While at the same time totally disregarding all the heinous acts you've done literally a week before, the same and going to do going forward. You know,
Right.
like the dynamic of these. It, the movie was a walking cognitive dissonance, and that's how I felt how my life was growing up. Living these two parts of myself: the person that wanted to go to college, play ball, get into politics, do right, and this person that just want to break everything in front of me.
Right. And which one you felt like was more a more powerful gravitational pull to you between those two
Well,
people?
consider well that once again that's a question of the when and now. Now, I believe that it's that person that wanted to be something more and wanted to earn it in a right pro social way. That's who I am now. Back then, I ended up doing 28 years of prison. It was the I don't want to call him a monster. It was that person who just didn't care about human life because he felt people didn't care about him.
Mm, okay,
You know?
okay,
I like to play chess. I like to play offensive chess. So I'm one to I want to hurt you before you hurt me,
right.
especially if you're a guy. What I say, another motherfucking man in front of me, masculine and all that shit. I growing up, I didn't want to be kowtowed to another dude because I
Mm,
felt I was happening to me at home with my dad.
right,
It was this
right,
overpowering presence that I felt I just couldn't match his stature. And I'd be goddamn, I was gonna let anybody outside the frame do that to me.
right. That's deep because I believe I also try to walk in my father's footsteps based on how he raised me. He was letting me hold guns at 6 years old. So
Hmm.
when I seen Kane in the movie and what was it, Purnell
Yeah,
allowed him to
Purnell.
hold the gun, I identify with that because I was like a father figure to him. You know, so when you talk about your dad and how you aspire to be like him in certain aspects, like I identified with that as well, and just
Yeah.
the overall being conditioned by the lifestyle to where you only gonna get worse. As once you go into that darkness, it only gets darker. So I've experienced the path of morphing from Kane to Old Dog, but before I can even grow into who was the G homie, I got sent away at 18 years old, you know,
Yes.
and I was able to go through my journey and my process to get on my road to recovery. So, but it's deep, man, because so many people they see this movie in the way that we come up and they glaze over the fact thinking that, oh, that's such an obvious pick, that Menace II Society. Like, why would you pick such an obvious movie? But it's so many layers to it
Thank
that,
you. Oh my God, you just said it.
yeah. Once we just talked about right now, just the politics side, that's a whole interview in itself that people don't even regard. So what's your
You
response
know
to
why,
that?
Vision?
People say that's an obvious movie.
You know why, Vision? I mean, I've been on this. You literally touched on something I've been on with my fiance like every day. We made it a touchstone to our relationship. It's really basically, bro. We Our culture now is very surface,
Right.
very surface. We see what's in front of us and we take it at face value and we move on. We don't we don't scrutinize no more. In fact, if we scrutinize, people might call you aggressive or regressive. You know what I'm saying? If you scrutinize something, if you try to hold something to a light or to some kind of accountability or to some kind of formal truth. So when everybody's walking around now with their own truths, and I understand you got to have your own truth, but where there's no more objective truth. So someone like Menace Society could get kind of like skated over because we all then bought into the stereotype of the movie. It's a hood classic. No, that movie is freaking layered, man. If you rip it open,
Right.
say these kids was wound up in this movie from start to finish.
Right.
Kane never got a chance to just slow the fuck down and really look at himself and say, man, you know what? I do want to live. Like with his grandfather, do you want to live or die? He said he didn't know. That was an honest answer, and he didn't get a chance
Right.
to know because it was unrelenting violence, unrelenting stuff. And yes, it was his choices to get in there. But damn, you're a teenager, so how big are your choices?
Exactly.
So
When
he
you're not
never
shown
really,
nothing else, though.
yeah.
From the people that's supposed to protect you, they're trying to kill you. The law enforcement, your own people is trying to kill you. Like other races, like nobody cares. So in your mind, like he said, what's the point of going over there when I'm just gonna be another nigga from the
And and
hood?
and, and it goes further. It's like, what is that doing to the brain? So like we both went through the same process inside there, and so the rehabilitative thing, luckily for us in our California prisons, they let us know how our brain works now. So we just don't know exactly what we went through. We know what the fuck it actually did to us.
Right.
It did something to my amygdala. It did something to Kane, Old Dogs, Sharif. the guys they were beefing with, Ayana's cousin. You know what I'm saying? That goofy dude. You know what I'm saying? What he's going through. That was a walking ball of insecurity right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The fact that you feel like you need to get involved. He's probably your second cousin. Like, bro, you were looking for something to crash into.
Right.
All these living in this lifestyle does something to your brain. It
Right.
it, it has an effect emotionally, cognitively. So to say like, oh, that's an easy pick. No, it's not. Look deeper. Really watch that movie,
Yeah.
and then go beyond it. Like I know they try to do a sequel. That's Kane's dead. That little
Right.
boy saw that man dead die in front of him.
Right.
What's gonna be of him going forward? Jada Pinkett's
Exactly.
character, boy, Purnell's son.
That's the sequel.
Yeah,
Yeah, that should be the
yeah,
sequel.
yeah. Like what happened with him? What's going. Say it's so many layers. If you blink at the end of the movie in the credits when it was going off, they showed scenes. Remember, he was dying. They were showing scenes, but they showed some scenes that they went in the movie. They showed one of Old Dog getting arrested. What happened to Brooke? Because he had that case after him. They got him. See, he's going to jail now for that double murder. For this shooting, it's California at that time period. That's California felony murder rule. So he's going for the case they're looking for. He's going in for that shooting that killed Sharif, killed Kane. He's going to get those bodies. And now we know today. So he's probably done. That's 90. He went in the same year I went in. So he's
Right.
probably did about 30 years now. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got death penalty or life without now, he was about 17, so he got action. He's probably trying to go to the parole board right now and begging for his life. And he's probably responsible for 4 lives or more being dead.
Right.
You
Because
know,
now
it's
you got because now once you get taken up out of that cesspool, now you're able to look at it from the outside looking in, and now you can see a lot of you could connect dots now and be like, damn, I was
wow,
oblivious to all this stuff that was going on up under my own nose. Because it's like when we going 100 miles an hour in the car, things is blurry.
man.
But once you slow down and you park yourself, now you're able to see the things that been there the whole time. And it's like, damn, how did I miss that?
And,
But when
and,
you're in it, it's no slowing down. Because as soon as you step out your door, every day is something going on.
and we do it blithely. Like, let's go back into it. Never saying like, man, we're jumping into a straight cesspool. Because that was the thing back in the day. That movie came out at the end of the whole African Babata, African medallion pro black movement in hip hop when hip hop first started. So still a couple of those dudes running around, the older generation of my generation. I'm right in the middle. Those older heads that are almost boomers, like the Dr. Dre ages and stuff. Those guys, Ice T, they're Gen Xers, but they're just a little bit. They're like 10 years older than me.
Mm,
So they had a little bit of that old school in them. So
right,
these guys who grew up on X Clan and Public Enemy and all that stuff. They were really with the struggle. And Kane was pretty much, and you see that. See, it's a representation. You saw how I don't. The ones who used to game bang, the game banging culture was you guys were our saviors at first. That shit, they started as saviors of the community. They were colliding against the police, and then later on, it changed. It basically it would say, "No, you're not my brother. You're my enemy." That was the representation of that scene.
right. And it was more
It's
so, but the way it was created, you got to think that Menace to Society, I'm gonna try to tie into what you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
In Menace to Society, it showed us that they was kids doing what grown people do, right?
Amen.
When Crips started, Tookie, they was kids. The Constitution of Crip was created by kids.
You ain't
You know,
never
they
lied.
was 16, 17 kids. But what happened to it was inevitable because when I read the Blue Rage Black Redemption, Tookie was saying that we created our own boogeyman. You know,
You ain't never lied. You ain't never
so
lied.
when it was created with the mentality that we was already indoctrinated with from the powers that be, we pretty much created our own trap within the trap.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Man, that's heavy.
Hey man, I didn't. I've done so much extensive stuff. You even said, "Oh, you're well-spoken," move, but I have never ever thought about that. To what you just said about these were kids that created this shit.
Right.
Fuck, absolutely were, and started something now that's been done all over the world. It's horrible. And you know what, bro? We go deeper. Since as a kid that let it happen, that means adults let it happen. The powers that be,
For sure.
because that's what they wanted our culture to be infantile and dangerous.
Right.
You just nailed it right there. It's an infantile culture
Right.
based out of fear, aggression, and pain.
Right.
Bro, you just messed me up with that one. And that's how I felt growing up a lot. Felt very fearful, felt not seen. You know, I was playing basketball and getting in certain things. I didn't feel heard, and I I was ready to do anything that crunched to get away from my pain.
Right.
I'd rather feel the crunch than to deal with that.
Okay. And so that movie was in it was pre World Wide Web time, right?
Yeah,
But
just a little
now,
bit.
yeah, just a little bit. Now we have this technological advancement that has equipped us with the type of artillery that we never had before to put us on offense, to create our own arenas, play our own game, and thrive in it.
Yes.
What are the lessons you feel like should be taken from that movie that still applies even in today's age, now that we have more opportunities and gateways?
In a positive way,
Yeah.
I as a man, right, and I know people are trying to redefine what that is, right? I think it's a little overthinking there. It's just when something good comes your way as a man, listen. And that's something we as black men were known for. We were known for certain things. We're known as to take care of our kids. So the fact that that's look at the things we're known for, we're now known for oppositely. That's not by the that's on purpose. We were known to be the strong people for our family. We were known to take care of our women. We were known to be good and handy with our hands and work because we were held at certain positions.
Right.
But there were even though that was fucked, there was a beauty and there was a joy in it. There was a togetherness. Cain had opportunities in each way, from his grandfather to Jada Pickett's character, his chick, and to that little boy that gave him a chance to think outside of himself. And each time he either procrastinated, that's mostly he really did. That was one procrastinating ass cat. He procrastinated or he just outright didn't believe in it until it was like he said, his last words, it's too late.
Right.
Don't be afraid. Like me right now, my life is I think it could be better, but it's at a great space, and I'm trajecting greatly because of the woman that's in my life, and I'm choosing to listen to her. You know, the chick that I'm with, man, she she on it, bro. And sometimes I be like, damn, who's she talking to? But man, she don't want me back in there, bro.
Right.
She don't want to be like in her. She wants to see me succeed. When I first started dealing with her, man, she almost left me because she was under the impression that I was putting too much into her over myself. What chick have you ever heard say that? Like, oh, stop doing for me. You know,
Mm.
we were like I said, we were in a real selfish culture, and that's the kind of a chick that Kana ran into,
Mm.
and he was balking at it. You know what I'm saying? She was putting him and and her kid first. But really, argument could be said. She knew what kind of life this fool was living. She could just took her kid and go. She's like, nah, hold on, man. I got one more spice for you. Come on through. That's a power of a strong, good black woman. I don't get caught up all that stuff on social media and they talk about these chicks that are not cool because usually they're not cool because some dude they make them cool, in my opinion.
Right.
But I saw that movie. There were chances where because I'm all about black unity, man, with especially male and female. And I saw there was some chances for him to I don't know about follow, but just listen to a wise counsel of your lady, man. Because a real woman don't want you to be no subservient ass dude that's under her foot. A real woman wants you to lead, but sometimes, especially in our situations where I've been gone for so long, I don't know how to lead just yet. You know what I'm saying? I ain't been out here. You know what I'm saying? She been out here raising kids, doing this, doing that. I mean, it's only smart for me to get her, let her know, like she's been doing this adult thing out here longer than me.
Mm.
Get out of my ego, you know what I'm saying? Take, and she showed me a little lane and I've been running in it and it's going slow, but it's working.
Right.
That's why and that's where I show my leadership at. And then I grow within that thing and then she chooses to follow. And that shit's dope, bro. And it's different.
Right. And as you was talking that, I'll just to piggyback that and close it out, that got me thinking about when we grow up in these areas, these destructive areas, these urban areas, the hood, we tend to focus on the messenger and not the message. Because we're surrounded by everybody doing a little bit of wrong. So it's hard to take wise advice from somebody that's doing wrong in some way. But
Amen.
You got Stacy that was telling him, get up out of there. You had even his grandfather, even though he was pushing, white Jesus or whatever up on him, still he was telling him stuff he should have listened to.
Yep.
You had different people that was telling him, oh boy, when he was in the classroom and he was, he was telling them about, even though
Sharif's dad. That was Sharif's dad.
Sharif's dad, like everybody coming from a different angle, but they still trying to tell him do something other than gangbang and be in the streets. So I think, I think in life that's something that can be carried on today. Is that you will be in a better position to focus on a message rather than the messenger, and investigate everything that comes through your ears.
Amen.
So as we segue, as y'all seeing, this the first time in Last of a Dyng Seed history where we doing 2 movies back to back. We just did Menace II Society. Now we about to segue into Imperial Dreams.
At a different angle. I bet you might see that the conversation went way different than they probably would expect.
Right. And for the people, because Menace II Society, I would be so bold to say that that's more widely known than Imperial Dreams. So when you start off, first tell the people, like, give them a synopsis of Imperial Dreams, then talk about how it relates to how you're trying to relate it to your life.
Okay. Now, Imperial Dreams, for all those who are, this one might be what you call more targeted. This is for all you parolees, other guys who've been doing a little time, got out, and got responsibilities right off the gate. I forgot the guys. I caught the movie on a fluke like 2 weeks ago. I was gonna go with another one, but this one just hit me in my chest, right? To the point I forgot the dude's name, but you know what? I'm glad I did. But I remember everything else, right? And he was, right down to his meeting. He goes to his meeting with his PO. You know what I'm saying? This PO is a dick. His baby mama is in county jail fighting some weird ass case. So his kid was staying with his uncle, played by Deuces, the great Glenn Plummer from South Central. That's my guy. When I saw him, I knew I had to sit down and watch this movie.
Was Uncle Shrimp up in there.
He kind of boggled my head, right? He's those guys you got to watch out for when you're trying to do right. And then and so it was basically this guy. He's trying to get his life together while create a better life for his kid, and it is perilous for him. It's rough. He's got 2 half brothers because his mom's a crackhead who stays with his uncle, and she's doing God knows crazy stuff, and they're all trying to just try to survive, and this dude is trying to navigate all these triggers in his family triggers, and that's what I really relate to. Like when he got out, the people he had to worry about most were the ones closest to him. Every time, except for the one time where he had to get on his uncle, and that one he really kind of had no choice, I believe. Every time he chose not to do the stupid, quick, impulsive decision. He stood in the pain. How's that relate to me? Yeah. Out here, before I came out, before I got in, I was somebody. I cut corners. I don't like failing, and so I'll cut a corner in a minute, and I'm good at cutting corners. You get the money in. So right now, it's been a blow to my ego. I'm not homeless, right? Get me wrong, but I feel like I got a good head on my shoulders. I feel like I could do certain jobs that I'll never get because of my record. So it's like as I'm older than I'm getting, and I'm out here trying to get better jobs, and because I chose this awesome woman and I chose her kids, so now I have responsibilities now. I'm out here. Yes, I didn't make those kids, but they're mine. And so I relate to dude come out here. So it's no longer my life is no longer just about me. When I'm out here working, I understand now. Like, man, I'm feeding 4 people.
Right.
And when I get out here and I get disrespected by people out here, or certain things don't go my way, and I know how certain ways I'm going to act, I realize now, damn, what I'm about to do is not going to just affect me. I'll be taking food out of someone's mouth.
Right.
And it was just weird how that came because I didn't have no responsibility when I walked out of there.
Yeah.
And really, you could argue my whole life. And so, dude's character, John Boyega's character in Imperial Dreams, when he was making the decisions, it looked it weird. It looked like, damn, this bro gonna get it right because he never had to do it. Like in the last movie, like with all these characters, no one was really. It was never shown to them, and when it was either showed to them in the wrong way, or they didn't have the wherewithal where you were speaking on earlier to forget the messenger, get the message. And I think that plays a part in the uncle character. You know, this guy went in one tone would do. He watched his son for him. That was awesome. His son had someone to lead. He still like kicked him out, but he would still let him stay a little bit, and he was threatening them, but he would still keep pulling them back in. But then he would do this aggressive stuff, like disrespect his mom in front of him, and just do weird stuff, and then to the point where the bro had to put him down and put a gun in his face to get him to back down. And then you still thought about killing your nephew. Why? Because you're what? You're jealous because this dude did something that you couldn't do? Put somebody ahead of him and leave the game alone and take care of
Right.
his son and do it the hard way? Like, I'd rather be in the car with my son to do anything that might get me back in jail where he don't have me or I'll be dead, he don't have me, or better get him killed. Because when his brother got killed, he and his son could have got killed that night. What is that?
Right.
So he was making decisions. He made some silly decisions like, why would you keep going back to your uncle's house in the first place? You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You're trying your hardest. And bro, I've been out here. I made some goofy decisions, not like illegal, but like decisions, like mistakes. It's like you were looking like, man, Marcus, what were you thinking? But
Right.
I'm out of practice. So yeah, it's a big thing, man. So I feel like I do see what I don't have, and I'm working on that. Like, because that's a trigger for me. To seeing the things I don't have, that's a trigger. But at least I'm aware of it now, right? And I see that character, and then I was a little jealous. Of course, it's a movie, so they can write the character the way they want to. But there are young guys. You're one of them. You're younger than me. You know what I'm saying? And you make these wise decisions. If I was at your age, I just didn't make.
Right. Right.
You know, and that used to set me off. And now it's like, you know what? Well, to me, the messenger is awesome, but there's some people that trip like I'm older, so I shouldn't learn from someone younger than me. That's bullshit. I try to get it from where I can. I learn from my fiance's kids.
Right.
These three teenagers and an awesome autistic 4-year-old nonverbal. Oh my God, they're amazing, man.
Right.
What they done to my life, and I see what his son, once he focused on his son, did for his life. Right? You know, she gonna be mad, but I don't say her name. Jasmine. It's been a big, big, big reason, but I say a positive reason, because you never want to put your eggs in one person. My recovery, my thing is that's my doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I understand she could get up and leave tomorrow, right?
Right.
But it still was awesome what she gave.
Right.
Didn't have to get, let's keep it 100. I was a 48-year-old, soon to be divorced, ex-criminal who just came out of prison for 28 years. And she said, you know what? I see potential. I like you. Fucking wild behavior, bro. You know what I'm saying? And for him to come out of prison, living his life, and he got a kid who looks up to him and say, hey, I love you, Dad. Take care of me. I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? That kid don't care about the mess. He don't care about what he's been through. He only cares, that's my daddy.
Right.
You know, get me out of here.
Right.
And the movie, I like how the movie ended with you don't know what the hell's going to happen. Remember, he lost his son. His son's in care. He's got to go visit him. He's got to go work at it, but like he was writing the book. You know what I'm saying? And I see my path forward, and I'm going to take it. And he's going to get his son. He's going to get his son. I have no doubt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the fact that it ended without giving us that satisfying thing, I thought that was perfect, because that's where I'm at right now. I don't have my final answer yet. I'm in it. I'm still growing. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to know if my work is complete when these kids talk about what I did to their lives, good or bad, when I'm done. That's where my indictment comes. In a lot of ways, I'm trying to redeem my own dad. I'm trying to get my shit together so people don't see how I end up and judge him, because that's how it's supposed to go.
Right.
You judge by your works.
Right.
And I think in Imperial Dreams, that's why that title is kind of dope. You know what I'm saying? This is his king. That's Imperial. He's a regal. You know what I'm saying? But he's dreaming of a better life for his kid. Nothing he was doing for himself.
Right.
Nothing. Let's just keep it 100. I believe certain things about our characters where you done certain things for a long time. Because I'll keep 100. I had a short criminal career, but I had a long criminal career in prison. I was fucking up for a long time. I still marvel why they kind of let me out, but I'm doing with it. You know what I'm saying? I only had look really 6 years of good time.
Right.
You know, but for whatever reason, the universe, God said, you know what? It's your turn. What you gonna do with it?
Because it just hit me as you was talking. The character name was Bambi.
Yes. Oh
So
yeah.
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 So I believe that in the context of, you know, hood niggas, street niggas, he was an outlier because when the women that we're messing with, when they go to jail, it's very rare that the homie's gonna come visit them or going to do what he was doing with his baby mama. Do you see
Yeah.
yourself in that aspect as well, that type of character?
Yes. Yeah. You know what? That's why I fucks with you, Vision. I thought I was gonna be able to walk out of here. You want to expose a nigga? I
Right.
look at. I be cupcaking like a motherfucker, man. I'm a I'm a king cupcaker. I don't care. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's what you get at. I don't care. I don't care.
That's why you messed her head up. Like, hold on, you doing too much for me. Hold on.
Hey, look, man. I love to feed. She don't take no trash out. She don't do no chores because she works all these damn jobs and she's mothering. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I'm a true. You know, I'm a different. I'm a little bit outlier. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Of course I want to lead, but I don't have no problem. You want to lead with me. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be over you, but you're not gonna be over me either. You know what I'm saying? I'm down. I could be a Renaissance man. I'm down for the true equality. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to find that because everybody wants to be the top shit.
Right. Right.
And now women seem to be on that shit with trying to return that energy. So here we are. But I I believe I've looked up and I found someone that's not on that trip. You know what I'm saying? She really wants a true partnership, but she does value independence, and so she teaches me a lot. I get it.
Right. And all right, let's all right, for the young men who still in that circumstance that Bambi was in Imperial
Yes.
Dreams, but we in today's time. Like, how would you guide them from the way the movie ended, the circumstances he was still in? What advice will you give him to help them achieve what he was trying to achieve?
I would. I know in the scene where the lady came, she really had no choice, right? But a lot of times these people, at least I've seen dealing with the county office here and all that, and maybe we got it good here in Riverside County. I don't know. I haven't been to these other counties, so if I'm speaking on my neck, I apologize to the largest verse out there. But a lot of these people are still in this little weird ass time. There's a lot of people out there that are good people, and these programs out here really want to help. And Bambi was an outlier. This was a single dad in a lot of respects, trying to do what's right for his kid. I believe if there's someone out there in that age group going through what he went through, man, utilize the groups because they will put their arms around you, especially if you're a young male doing this because
Right.
that's different. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Don't do the things others don't do. Go get the help. You know what I'm saying? You know that whole old line, you want to hide it from a nigga, put it in the book. It seems like now you want to hide it from anybody, not just blacks. Hide it for anybody, put it in a building. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and find that shit. You know what I'm saying? I like right now, I got a job now, but I was in between jobs and I went to go apply for unemployment benefits and then in the GA, if I signed up for the job this thing, and all people are like, oh yeah, you just do that just to fill out the thing. I actually went to those classes and I got me a job. That's how
Right.
this works. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get my second job soon through my fiance. That's how this works. You build your network. You accept the help.
Right.
That's one thing Bambi didn't really. He was going out there and he was trying to make it happen, but from his understanding,
Right.
if it's just a program, just a class, going to school, you're going to need help because that teacher, your fellow students, are going to help you. The way I look, bro, like with Imperial Dreams, I know something he did. The character Bambi did. He didn't hang out with some of his family. He didn't hang out with a lot of dudes.
Right.
Just came out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Since I've been out here, bro, I just been really with my chick and the kids. I don't hang out with dudes no more. I did that for 30 years. I'm good.
Right. Right.
But there's people that I see that I keep up with. And I watch my Facebook thing, and there's only 5 guys on my Facebook account. So I see all of your stuff, dude. What
Appreciate
you're
it.
doing is amazing, man. The fact that
Appreciate
you're
it.
helping people, you're helping us recover by looking at ourselves through another prism.
Right.
you're creating a safe space. I really hate that phrase, but this is actually a true safe space. You're creating a safe space through film that does to get our shit out. Because
Right.
some things, unfortunately, that we can't talk about in public. You know what I'm saying? Because people have our asses right back in there. But
Right.
this shit that still eating us up. But we could share that shit through a movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could tell you what I've been through by saying, look what Old Dog did.
Right. Exactly. And what we do on this platform, that's pretty much like Storytelling Anonymous right now. You know,
Man,
people processing their own version of healing through story. You know, and what these films do, it just gives greater context to these real life stories. So I'm just glad
man.
that, but y'all make the channel what it is. So I'm just glad that y'all come on and y'all allow me to, give y'all a platform so that y'all can impact the world through y'all story. You know,
But bro, hey man, I remember I remember when you first was doing this when you was just in the idea phase, bro. It's just like people. He was just talking about this, like, hey man, I think about doing a podcast, man. What you think?
yeah, two
I
rooms, two rooms away from you. Push the
yep.
record button, just start talking, man. That's
Yeah,
it.
he used to be on me like, hey man, let's do this, right? And it's not that I was going through some stuff, right? But man, I like watching stuff like that, man. Watching you from start to, and it's not finished. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
You're
yeah,
like you're still in the starting gate in a lot of respects.
for sure.
And you're like, but bro, what you already achieved is like, I have no doubt, man. I'll be seeing you in a commercial soon.
And I believe that what we're doing, we're creating a new cycle of inheritance. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? Like prior to us, when we was in our ignorant phase, we adopted that cycle of inheritance, of destruction, of trauma, of survival, of the victim mentality, of all these things. But now we're creating a new cycle of inheritance by replanting ourselves in a different type of garden. But yeah, I appreciate you. Like I said, you the first one on this channel to do two movies back to back in one setting. As y'all
I
see,
am
our
so
clothes didn't
honored.
change. You know what I'm
I
saying?
am so
This
honored.
one setting. So man, let's continue to up the scale, man, on how we gonna continue to impact lives. I appreciate you. Till next time.
Until next time, man. Thank you.
Every seed that we planted bore some rotten fruit. The baby boomers sold crack just to cop a coupe. They taught us slide and shoot, judge hangers with the noose. Never show no mercy on your ops, never call a truce. Big bruh said you could be a pimp. All you gotta do is have her mind and you could lead the bitch. Brainwashed by the six, but then with self-imposed limitations. Trying to hit this home run before we load the bases. Never had no patience, all my partners died young, and yet and still we emulated examples that they died from. We was on the hype, call it learned behavior. Post your gun on Instagram, 100 on the cater. Chain with the savior, but you never love your neighbor.
Dude, and I think the movies blend well of from two guys who had two similar decisions, and one chose one way and the other chose the other. And I found myself at 2 points in my life met with the same decisions, and I chose wrong. And now, once again, in real time, was met with the same decision. I'm choosing better.
How can a fruit grow healthy if it's a rotten tree? They brainwash me with this false propaganda. It's hard to grow healthy when your culture got the cancer.